Welcome to my Bake Escape. It's officially summer and I am all about the pineapple and tropical recipes. In this video, I am showing you a classic. This is my pineapple upside down mini bundt cakes. I do use a mold for this, so I will link a similar one in the comments of this video, but you can also use a 9x13 cake pan to make this recipe. For the full recipe, visit mybakeescape.com. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at mybakeescape, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Hit that like button. I appreciate the support. So for this recipe, I am using a boxed mix. It's a cake mix, Betty Crocker vanilla. I'm not sponsored, but it is one of my favorites. I'm also using some maraschino cherries and a can of pineapple rings or pineapple slices. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, if you are new to baking, make sure that you prep all of your ingredients. For one, this ensures that you have everything you need on hand, but then it also makes the process a lot smoother as you are going through the recipe. So I went ahead and opened this can of pineapple rings, and the cake mix calls for 1 cup of water, but I'm going to use the juice from this can of pineapple, and it gives me about 3/4 cup of pineapple juice. So I went ahead and added a little bit of water to make it a full cup because that's what the recipe requires. And I went ahead and laid out the pineapple rings on a plate so that they're ready for me to use when I get to that part of the recipe. I love pineapple. I love it fresh. I love it canned. I even like it on pizza, and I know that's kind of a controversial topic, but I am one of those people that enjoy pineapple on pizza. How about you? Let me know in the comments. Do you like pineapple on your pizza? So as I mentioned previously, I also use maraschino cherries. I have a jar of these cherries that have the stem still on, so I went ahead and removed a few of them from the jar, took the stems off, and then I cut these in half. I'm going to use about 3 to 4 halves of these cherries for each of the molds, so I do need quite a few of these cherries for this recipe. As I am working with the cherries, they are soft, so I'm being very gentle when I cut them in half so that they maintain that shape. Once the cherries have been cut, I went ahead and placed them on the plate with the pineapple. As I mentioned, I am using a boxed cake mix for this. This calls for eggs, water, and oil. I'm going to also add some vanilla extract, and as I mentioned earlier, I add pineapple juice instead of the water. Make sure you are using a large enough bowl because it will be hard to mix all of these ingredients together if your bowl is too small. To the cake mix, I went ahead and added 3 room temperature eggs. Then I added the vanilla extract. This is about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, followed by the pineapple juice and water. And then I measured out the vegetable oil and added that. Once all of these ingredients have been added to the bowl, I went ahead and mixed them together using a hand mixer, but you can do this in the bowl of a stand mixer. Whatever you have, it will work just fine. You can also mix by hand. It will take a little bit longer, but you can use a whisk or a wooden spoon. You just want to mix until all the ingredients are combined and there are no large lumps in the batter. So at this point, my oven is preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So the next step is to prep the pan or the mold that I'm using and then assemble these little cakes. One thing I didn't show is that I also use some browned butter. Click the link above to watch a video on how I brown butter. And I mix together the brown sugar, so it's half a cup of brown sugar with a stick of unsalted brown butter, and this is going to give that like caramelized classic upside down cake sugar topping that goes on the cake. All right, so now you see I have everything. I have the cake batter, I have the brown sugar butter, topping, and then I have the pineapple rings and cherries ready to go. I also am liberally spraying each mold with non-stick cooking spray. This will just help release those cakes after they bake. So I start by adding about a tablespoon of this brown sugar, brown butter topping to the bottom of each of the molds. Now, if you're using a 9 by 13 inch pan, you would spray it with nonstick cooking spray and evenly spread this mixture on the bottom and then just build your cake that way. But since I'm using this mold, I am adding a little bit, spreading it out, and then make sure that it is evenly spread all along the bottom. So this recipe will make 12 of these mini bundt cakes, or it will make a 9 by 13 inch cake, whatever you have available to you. But as I mentioned earlier, if you do want to make the mini bundt cakes, I will post a link to a similar pan. So now that the brown sugar mixture is at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and add the cherries and the pineapple. So I start by placing a few of the cherries cut side down on top of that brown sugar mixture, and then I add a pineapple ring on top of the cherries and gently press down. And as these bake, that brown butter, brown sugar, and the caramelization from the pineapple as it cooks in the oven is just going to add that delicious flavor to these cakes. This part is a lot of fun. You can even get children involved if they want to help you. This part is perfect for kids to help out and build these little bundt cakes. Now it's time to add the cake mix. So I use a ice cream scoop to help add the cake mix batter to the molds. So I fill them up to about 2/3 of the way full. You can definitely use a large spoon if you don't have a ice cream scoop like I have here. These are ready to go in the oven. As I mentioned, the oven has been preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and these are going to bake for about 15 to 18 minutes. They have been baking for about 16 minutes. To make sure they're done, I press down gently on the cake, and when the cake bounces back like this, that means they're done. Just to be sure, I poke them with a skewer and it comes out clean, so I know for sure that they're baked all the way through. I let them cool for about 10 minutes, and then using a mini spatula, I gently, just very gently, use it to pull the sides away from the pan. This will really help remove the cakes later after they cool. I let them sit and cool for about 10 minutes, and then I prepped a baking sheet with some parchment paper, placed that over the top of the pan, and then flipped it over, and I let this sit for a few minutes. You want to make sure that you allow the pan to cool down so that you can handle it and don't burn yourself. So at this point, the pan is cool enough that I could touch it, give it a little tap, then gently shake the pan. This will help release the cake from the pan, and then, as you can see, we have delicious, beautiful looking pineapple upside down bundt cakes. They turned out so cute. I'm so happy with the way that they look, and I can't wait to taste. At this point, I went ahead and washed my pan and then repeated the steps to make the second batch for a total of 12 mini bundt cakes. So I went ahead and let these cool for about 20 minutes because they are very hot, so you don't want to burn yourself. But let them cool for about 20 minutes and then you can enjoy. The cake is so tender. The caramelization and sweetness from the pineapple with that brown butter and brown sugar. They are just so delicious. I hope you try this recipe soon. If you do, let me know in the comments what you think, and make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you are notified of new content as I release it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a sweet day.